Hey everybody, welcome to my Inktober sketchbook tour. I finished up this month in a new sketchbook here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end as well. But it is the Midori A5 notebook. It is non-ruled, it's blank. So in the front here you'll see that I have a little calendar to keep me on track and mark off which days I'm on. This just has my phone number, so I'll blank that out. Prompt list 1 is Mystica Azure's list on Instagram, and her list is called Deities of the Night. The first one here, let me get a page thing behind here so that you can see better. The first one here is an Aztec goddess of the night. I remember that she had obsidian butterfly wings with blades on them, and she's supposed to be a kind of a scary one. I'm not going to even attempt to say the name because Aztec names are impossible to say in English. Day 2, the goddess is called Tanit. She is the goddess of moon and fertility. I try to do a little bit more backgrounds in these drawings. As you can see, the ink doesn't lay well on this page. I could not get an even coat. It just kind of immediately creates a lot of texture. And this is done in fine liners, mostly with a little bit of ink wash in the back. Next day is Raytree. She's supposed to be more of a comfort at night to kind of soothe everybody's worry about being afraid of the dark, which is why the inside of her cape is supposed to be illuminated. It's kind of like it's all darkness, but she brings the light to it. The next one is Urania. She is the Greek goddess of astrology. Again, you can see that the wash doesn't work very well. Also, masking fluid tears this paper. And when you do ink washes, it really buckles the paper. But there's no bleeding and there is no feathering. So I actually really liked working on this paper. It kind of is more like almost a rice paper feel with maybe a waxy finish or a plasticky finish. But anyway, this was my take on Urania. This was an African goddess of the night called Mawu. For some reason, she rides an elephant. I don't know. And I remember that she created man and woman out of clay. So there she is. Astrea is the Greek star maiden. She's not really a goddess. She's supposed to be more like a younger, innocent type of deity, I guess. Which is why I kind of made her outfit very modest compared to some of the other ones. This is the constellation Virgo, which is her constellation. This is, and I have no idea if I'm saying this right, but Nickel. She's an orchard goddess. I tried to do more layering in this, and I did iron this page after, so it's not as wrinkly as it was, which was quite wrinkly. And my main objective for this was to work on lighting, and I think it turned out pretty good. Week 2, I was following Enerjax's prompt list called Fashion Witchtober. So day 8 on hers was called Bath Time. So I did a witch taking a bath in the moonlight. And then Cafe Cute was the next one on her list. I think this one kind of turned out more like a pirate than a witch, but I still like it. Kind of a casual Witchtober. This prompt was pretty cool. At first I really didn't like it. The prompt was called Too Many Bags. And all I could think about was shopping bags or grocery shopping bags, like trying to carry all the bags at once, which is the only thing I could think of for too many bags. But I thought, and I finally came up with tea bags. So I decided that this witch was brewing her potion with store-bought ingredients instead of finding her own, and they come in tea bags. And that's a lot of them. At the Theater was the next one. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. Pastel Princess. This looks like it should have more meaning than it does. It was just something that came to mind when I thought of Pastel Princess. This one is called After the Salon. It's kind of her going out on a date after she's been to the salon and gotten all prettied up. You can see that this ink wash is much more successful just because it was so solid and dark. And I tried to use a little bit more texture in this drawing, and I really like how this one turned out, although the composition is really way too far towards the center of the page, the center of the book. This one I'm probably going to say wrong as well, but this is Seifuku, the Japanese schoolgirl uniform. It brought to mind ideas of manga or some sort of like adventure-y storyline with these girls. So she's a witch in a Seifuku. The next week I followed Daibi's list. She didn't really have a name for hers, but I will link hers in the description as well. Day 1, that's actually day 15, is the Six of Pentacles. This one I just did in a simple ballpoint pen. I wanted to see how that worked out, and I think it was actually quite successful, and I like this one. But that's why you don't see any more heavier blacks, because it's all just in ballpoint. Blood was the next one on her list. And the difference between this one and some of the other ones with the background is this is actually just paint. It's like, it's called poster color. It's kind of like a tempera paint, kind of like gouache, I guess. But this is ballpoint pen other than that, and then a little bit of ink wash on it. The paint gives a lot smoother of a finish, and it doesn't hurt the pages as much, I think, so I started using a lot of that. Knight of Wands was the next day's prompt. I don't remember a lot of the symbolism for this, but this is another tarot card. Grimoire. This one I liked. I usually really like putting faces into drawings. This one I did not. Instead, I tried to add more personality with like the aging of the paper. And you can see, well, I wanted this grimoire to look like it's been used a lot, kind of like a family recipe book. It's kind of spilled on and torn up and all that. So I wanted the page to also look a little bit aged. And then I used a little bit of yellow ink and a little bit of green ink. This is another tarot card. It's called The Sun. Where I live, there's a lot of sea otters everywhere. Then I do some photography and I take pictures of them and sometimes. But I thought that I would incorporate that into this piece a little bit, just as kind of a local thing. The sun meaning had something to do with maternal something, which is why she has a baby, and then these are supposed to be the 4 suits of tarot. This is just a fine liner outline. This is my absolute favorite from the whole month, and the prompt for this one was plague. Going into this, I didn't really have a particular idea that I wanted to get across, and I actually didn't want to go with the plague doctor mask, but I figured instead of trying to make it mean something, I was just going to have fun and design and make a cool picture that I enjoyed drawing, which is what it turned out to. So it doesn't really mean a whole lot, but I think it's pretty. Again, this is paint in the background. The Magician is the last prompt for this week. It's again a tarot card. These are supposed to be the 4 suits again. Aside from that, I didn't have too much meaning. I honestly didn't look into the Magician very much at all. And I think somebody on my Instagram said it reminded them of The Prestige, which is one of the few movies that I've actually seen a magician in, so that's probably why. So the next week I followed a different prompt list, and I will link her Instagram in the description below. So day 1 of that one, not day 1, but day 21 was Moth. Again, I didn't have a whole lot of meaning to this one. I just wanted to play around with different colors. And actually blending the dark green and the yellow ink to make that color was pretty fun. And since Halloween was coming up, I gave her a candy corn bracelet. Next is Lantern, and I quite like how this one turned out, but I did go back to the ink, and you can see all the different texture on the page because the paper did not like that much moisture. But I wanted, for this particular subject matter, I wanted more of the old book feel again, and the paint really didn't give me that. So I went back to the ink, and it's basically like the Ferryman, I think. So I kind of mixed that with like the Grim Reaper idea, and that's what I came up with. Next up is Angel. You can see this one is paint again. For this one, I wanted to do more of not the sweet angelic angels that we see these days, but back like Renaissance and times like that when a lot of the angels were kind of darker. So this angel beheaded somebody, but that's the extent of the story there. Next is Demon. This is probably my least favorite in this whole thing. Just because, mostly because the hair, I think. I wanted it to have more texture, but when I did the ink wash over it, it completely washed out all of my lines. And it was so dark that I couldn't really get more texture. But then when I tried to put the white ink over the top, it made it too white, and it was gross. But anyway, this is what I came up with for Demon. Window is the next one. I just wanted a witch kind of snuggling her kitty familiar on her window seat. Okay, so this one, the prompt was deer, and I have no idea why I made a yoga deer, but it is what it is, and I kind of like it. And then Teeth was the one after that. I'm not a huge fan of this. I wanted to do kind of a Nosferatu type vampire there. Anyways, this one was kind of a simple one. I don't mind how it turned out, but I don't really like the concept very much aside from the Nosferatu vampire. So after that, I did whatever I wanted to because it was the end and I didn't want to do just a couple days for a prompt list. And I also got new ink and a dip pen, which was awesome. So this one was my first one using brown ink with a dip pen. You can see it takes a really long time to dry, so some of these things got smudged. I had seen Third Eye as a prompt somewhere a long time ago in Inktober, and I decided that I wanted to draw something for that. So this is what that is. This is a dog. Again with the dip pen. I just had fun with this one. And last, but also one of the best ones I think in this whole thing. I got brown ink and I got fluorescent pink ink. And I had a lot of fun. This is actually black ink that came with the dip pen, and then pink acrylic ink. But I dig it. So that is it. I'm still going to use up the rest of this sketchbook notebook for some other things, but I just wanted to share with you my Inktober sketchbook. It does have this kind of beat up now, but a wax paper coating on the outside. This is meant to go inside a traveler's journal. It's supposed to be one of other pieces. And I wish I could tell you more information about it, but it's all in Japanese, so I guess if you can read Japanese, you can pause it and look at it, but I don't know what it says. So, anyways, I definitely recommend this for a sketchbook for ink. It was a lot of fun, and the texture itself of the paper was a little different, so maybe it's just me, but when I get a different paper texture that I like, I really enjoy drawing again. So it was fun to go through this book. But anyways, thanks so much for watching my Inktober sketchbook tour. I hope you have a great day.